Hi people! So I've already done a Walking Dead Q&A, so now I thought I would do a Q&A for my other favourite TV show, Game of Thrones. Question 1 is, who is your favourite male character? If you follow me on Twitter, you probably know who my favourite male character is. It is Gendry. He is the definition of an underdog, and his character is so intriguing. Like, he's obviously a secondary character, he's not a major character, but that just makes his story all the more intriguing, and there's so much more that we need to know about him. And plus, Joe Dempsey, who plays him, is from my neck of the woods, so gotta support the local talent. Question 2 is your favourite female character. That would be Brienne of Tarth. She obviously has this whole thing where people judge her as soon as they see her because she's so tall. She's automatically not as attractive as the other females in Westeros. I think that's a load of bullcrap. She is bloody beautiful, and she can fight a lot better than many of the men. So she is pretty much like the perfect woman, and I'm so glad that someone like Tormund, as soon as he saw her, was like instantly like, oh my god, I love her. And Brienne is one of those people where she doesn't have everything going for her because people have put that into her head that she doesn't have everything going for her. So I want her to be able to succeed in whatever she wants to achieve in her life. Question 3 is your favourite house. My favourite house may sound cliche, but it's the Stark house. They are, I would say they're the most relatable. They're not pure evil, but they're not like pure good. I don't think there's any house in Game of Thrones that's like purely good, but they are the most down-to-earth family. They've got like the highborn status and everything like that, but they're still not as like regal as the Lannisters. And they have had, as we all know, they have had a pretty tough time since the very beginning of the show. So I like to root for the underdog, and I like to root for the people who deserve the good the most. And I think the Stark family, after everything that's happened to them, at least the remaining people, deserve some happiness. And Jon is a Stark. He's not a Snow, he is a Stark, or he's a Targaryen. Question 4 is your favourite house words. My favourite house words are from the house Tully, which is family, duty, honour. I like those words because out of all the words for all the houses, those are the words that I would use if I was to have like a house and to choose words. Those would be the words that I would use to represent my house, or at least represent me as a person. Question 5 is your favourite episode. My favourite episode is from season 5, episode 8, Hardhome, and that is the one where there is that massive battle between the White Walkers and the Whites versus Jon and the Wildlings and a couple of the crows from Castle Black. Just the sheer mass of people that we saw, and the amount of time that it must have taken to do that episode, considering that, you know, for the last like half an hour of that episode it was just purely this battle going on, and it was just such to watch. It was like absolutely visually amazing. Question 6 is your least favourite male. Being Game of Thrones, being that there are some horrible characters, there's a lot of male characters that are never going to be up there. But the worst one for me is Grand Maester Pycelle. He's so... It's not that he's bad, because, you know, you've got people like Joffrey and Ramsay who are just like straight up evil. He doesn't portray himself to be evil. He doesn't own that evilness, and I think that's what makes him even worse, is that he doesn't own his evilness. He kind of acts as if he is this noble man going about doing all this honourable stuff, and he's not honourable. He's a creepy old man who sleeps with young girls, and bleh. I don't like it, and I don't like him. But he's dead now, so what are you gonna do? Question 7 is your least favourite female character. That would have to be Cersei. But the thing is, she is my least favourite female character because, like, I hate the character so much because she's such a bitch, but actually she is so interesting to watch. And you know, especially with the last episode of season 6, obviously you hate her for what she's done, but you're still compelled to watch more. And especially with her now being crowned Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, you don't want her to die. Like I want her to die because obviously she's evil and we need the good people to come and triumph over evil, but I don't want her to die because I want to continue watching her. Question 8 is your favourite quote, and my favourite quote has to be, "You know nothing, Jon Snow." Question 9 is your favourite friendship. My favourite friendship is between Jon and Sam because the two of them are such contrasting characters, but they come together and they mesh so well. Like Jon is seen as this outsider at Winterfell, and to an extent at Castle Black as well. He's kind of seen as the outsider, but he takes that role and he owns it, and he proves to them that, you know, they might see him as an outsider, but he's not gonna feel sorry for himself. He's gonna show everyone what he can do. Whereas Sam is also someone who gets treated as an outsider, but he kind of lets that affect him and lets that get him down. And Jon, like, kind of disciplines him about that, but it's definitely done in like a heartfelt way. Like Jon doesn't mean any spite behind it. He truly cares for Sam and wants him to stand up for himself and be a man and do what needs to be done. So he does kind of do this kind of like harsh thing with him, but he means well. He means good with Sam. Question 10 is a character that you used to hate but now you like, and that would be Jaime Lannister. The fact that in the first episode we see this guy who looks like Prince Charming from Shrek, and he's so up himself, and then he goes and pushes a 10-year-old boy out of a window because he was doing wrong. From that moment you are made to hate him. Like, you know, we were shown that because we need to hate this guy, and for a long time you do feel hatred towards this guy. He's, you know, he is an arsehole to Ned as well. He's an absolute, and you're thinking, this guy is not redeemable whatsoever. Like, there is no way that he can be. But during season 3 and during his time with Brienne, slowly but surely you actually start to feel sorry for this guy and you understand some of his actions. I understand why he pushed Bran out of the window to keep him from telling the secret and everything, but I'll never forgive him for doing that. But stuff like with the Mad King, the reason why he stabbed him in the back and the reason why he's called the Kingslayer, I can forgive him for that. And I actually find myself rooting for Jaime now, and I actually find myself, because he's clearly still so in love with Cersei and he's still got those rose-tinted glasses on, and I'm just willing him to stop, to take them off and to see Cersei for what she really is. I mean, he knows what she really is because he was once like that, but he's definitely growing as a person, and he's definitely growing in a different direction and becoming a better person, and he just needs to get rid of Cersei. Question 11 is a character that you hate that you used to like, and that would be Ollie. I never particularly had any feelings towards Ollie. I didn't hate him, I didn't love him, he was just merely this little boy. First, he goes and shoots Ygritte in the heart. Yes, she was aiming for Jon at that specific time, but do I think she was actually going to kill him? No, I don't. But then Ollie goes and puts an arrow through her heart. Can't forgive him for that, but I can understand why he was doing that. He was protecting Jon, and obviously she was a wildling. He didn't know anything about Ygritte and Jon at that time, so that's kind of forgivable. But then when you go and stab Jon Snow in the heart, that's unforgivable. That is absolutely unforgivable. And Ollie got everything that was coming to him in season 6 when Jon thankfully was brought back to life. He's only a kid, but my God, I hated him. Question 12 is a character that you would bring back. And now that we are all caught up on Game of Thrones for the moment, the character that I would bring back is Margaery Tyrell. She was like sneaky and mischievous, like the way that she played the game, but you have to be in Game of Thrones. She didn't play it like Cersei. She had good intentions, and Natalie Dormer's just amazing at playing Margaery, and she was one of those characters where she definitely didn't deserve to be killed that way. Like, she deserved so much better. The High Sparrow, bleh, whatever, but Margaery definitely deserved better than being defeated by Cersei, because Margaery sort of always had one up on her, but Cersei unfortunately kind of got her on the last one. Question 13 is a character that you would kill. I wouldn't necessarily kill anybody, but I definitely would have someone who I would want to pay for their crimes and pay for their wrongdoings, and that person would be Petyr Baelish, aka Littlefinger, because he has been the biggest player. He has literally gone from camp to camp, and he's like that person who like goes to one place and says, oh, blah blah's been saying crap about you, and then they say something about that person, and then he'll go to that place and say, oh, blah blah's been saying crap about you, and he just stirs the pot between everybody, and he makes everything so much worse. And I want him to pay for his crimes. I want him to be caught and to not necessarily own up to his actions, but for everybody to realise what a slimy little snake Petyr Baelish has been, and I want him to get his comeuppance. Question 14 is the most satisfying death. There are so many deaths that have been heartbreaking ones on Game of Thrones, but there have been a few that have been rather satisfying. Ramsay, definitely, with the dogs. Walder, I mean, he's had that coming since season 3, but the one that's probably the most satisfying would have to be King Joffrey, because he was probably the first out of the like real villains in the show. He was probably the first major one to actually get his comeuppance, and I'm so glad that we are rid of that little shite. The last question, question 15, is who do you want to win the Game of Thrones? If there is endgame and the person who wins gets to just lead a quiet life, nobody is after them trying to kill them or trying to take the throne away from them or starting any rebellions or anything like that, the person that I want to win the Game of Thrones is Gendry. And Arya needs to be by his side as his queen. And then she won't be Milady, she'll be my lady to him. So those were the Game of Thrones Q&A questions. If you have any other Game of Thrones related questions that you want to ask, just leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye! And yes, this is a boys t-shirt. I got this in the men's section in Primark, and actually I got this top in the men's section in Primark, because bugger it to your bloody gender specific clothes. If Harry Styles can wear girls jeans, then I can wear men's top.